So now you should be seeing the ProtectWise heads-up display. So this is our user interface. So as you can see, this is just a browser. It doesn't require anything special. And the way that we have designed our user interface is we really believe that visualization of data is hugely valuable, that you need better visibility across your organization. So the HUD was designed to be able to give you that situational awareness across your entire environment. So you can see we've deployed sensors within AWS, we've deployed sensors on our traditional enterprise network, and we've also deployed sensors in industrial control type environments. So we can deploy these sensors anywhere in our network, anywhere in our organization that we believe is useful to get visibility, detection, and response. We then feed all that data in where we can now see in real time or at any period in time what's going on in our networks. So you can see across the top all the different applications and protocols that are communicating. You can see this wheel over here is showing me all of my different connections on my network. So the outer bar is showing me connections going out to the outside world, and the inside bar is showing me active hosts on the inside. We then color code each of these to be able to demonstrate the amount of threats that we've seen with any of these hosts. And every single one of these is very actionable. So when you see something, or when your SOC or when your security team sees this stuff, you can quickly drill down in and see what this actually is. So you see suspicious connections going somewhere in the world. You see things that are color-coded. You can easily drill down in and always get that full packet capture. We then map each of the detections that we've detected to the cyber kill chain. And so if you look back over a period of time, we'll just say for the last hour, I can now see all the different observations and events that we've seen, all the way from recon to delivery to exploit to beaconing to command and control, fortification, and data theft. And so as things escalate up that cyber kill chain, they obviously become more risky or more damaging to your organization. So from a visual perspective, you can easily see how these things are escalating up. The other concept here is our concept of observations versus an event. An observation is a single indicator. So maybe it's somebody went to a malicious website. That'd be a single observation for recon. But when we trigger an actual event, we're correlating multiple of these observations to be able to trigger on the entire event as it's escalated, as we've seen multiple indicators that are demonstrating an attack. So before I dive into the threat engine, I wanted to quickly talk about our sensors. So as I mentioned earlier, these are software sensors that can be deployed anywhere in the network. And typically when we deploy these sensors, we deploy them in a profiling mode where they learn your network. So the sensor learns your network, it learns the different protocols on your network, and then you can optimize these flows. So we obviously compress the data, but we also can choose at what level we want to capture. So on any protocol, we have 3 levels of capture. The base is a net flow, or we can exclude it completely, stream heads, which are the first 4,000 bytes of any flow, or full packet. We typically aim to get full packet for anything that has security relevancy in real time or retrospectively. But it allows us to tune our capture policy to only capture things that are relevant. So if it's YouTube traffic, maybe we want to capture up to where the video starts playing. Or if it's encrypted traffic that you're not decrypting, maybe we just want to capture up to where the certificate exchange happens. And why an organization wants to do this is we're a cloud platform and we charge based on the amount of optimized data you send to the cloud. And so you can tune these sensors to capture everything that's valuable to your organization. And we typically get about a 70 to 80% optimization rate on these flows. So once that data is optimized on the sensor, it's encrypted, streamed up to the cloud, we're going to replay it through all those different threat detection engines. And so when we see an event trigger, we can typically see that this event is built up of multiple observations. So in this example, we have 14 different observations. They have crossed different categories from exploit and attack to malware to malicious hosts, and kill chain stages from delivery to beacon to exploit. We also can see that there's multiple destination hosts involved in this and only one internal host in here. And you can visualize where in the world these connections are happening. Immediately from here, as an analyst, once again, we want to speed up the process to investigate each one of these incidents. You can go directly to downloading the full packet data related to this incident, or we can jump over to our kill box. And what kill box is, it's kind of the incident response forensic workbench for investigating any of our incidents. And so we can see that visualization of how this event occurred over time, because complex threats execute over time, and we can visualize each stage of this attack and everything that happened. So all the way from a landing page or a redirect, the actual exploit, to some actual ransomware beaconing in this case. You can see all the different hosts involved. So very quickly, you can get a good view of that. And from here, you can do some workflows like assigning or tagging these, adding a ticket number. We can automate some of this, obviously, with Demisto. But you can also start drilling in to get additional information. So from here, maybe I want to go view my Palo Alto logs. So I can get my logs immediately from the Palo Alto to be able to quickly look in and say, was this blocked? Was this something I'm concerned about? You also always have the ability to view that full packet data. So from within here, you can view the full packet data. You can search the full packet data for something that might be useful in your organization or for that response. So it's really about having a lot of that quick data at your fingertips to be able to say, ProtectWise detected something. They may be detected in real time or retrospectively. How did it occur over time? What were all the hosts involved? Tell me the firewall logs, or give me some endpoint information. In this example, it's pulling from Carbon Black. Give me some endpoint information about this host so that I have all that data at my fingertip to be able to maybe make a more intelligent decision. So really on our side, it's about correlating a lot of these different sources of information or these detections, and it's about giving an analyst a view into some of this additional data. But then we can take it a step further with Demisto to automate and orchestrate actions from this. So maybe go to actually take action, remediate on the endpoint, or remediate on the firewall. And I think that's where it's a really powerful combination. We're correlating and reducing the noise on our side, and then we're automating a lot of those repeatable processes with Demisto to really speed up this process for an organization. The other thing that we provide is once we've done that, you really now can start drilling down into, start exploring this data. So we believe that by freeing up our team from dealing with all of these alarms and drinking from the fire hose all day, we now can free them up to start hunting for other things. And so we can start doing these visualizations and explore, where I can start mapping out, well, if I have one malicious host connecting to this IP, well, first of all, what is this host? And I can quickly get information about that host. I can quickly see the types of connections and requests that have been going to that host. But I also can see that there are potentially 15 or 20 other hosts on my network who are also connecting there, right? So this might be a much larger breach or a much larger issue than we initially thought. And from here, you can now see every single flow that's been connected. You can see all the different requests that were made to these different sites. And of course, always download the full packet data or view it from directly within the console here. We also can use this as a search tool. So being able to come to my network and say, have I ever seen this on my network, this file hash or this HTTP method or query string or response code? And we extract all the different metadata from those flows and we index it so that you can search very quickly. One of the great things about the power of the cloud is all of that search query that I just did. We can search across hundreds of billions of records, and when you're looking at hundreds of billions of things, you can't have that request take hours to return that data. And so by leveraging the power of the cloud, we can return a majority of our queries in mere seconds. So speeding up the time not only to get access to the data, we believe is a huge part of being able to speed up the incident response process. We also can visualize how these flows go from internal to external and even where they're connecting in the world. So very quickly, you can come in here and you can start visualizing these different views of your environment to be able to start asking these sorts of questions. We then, of course, have standard reporting and other stuff. But one of the big things that we also allow is the ability to manage your own intel. So being able to bring in your own threat intelligence, be able to manage your own signatures. And one of our core values is that we really wanted to reduce the overhead of tuning a lot of the threat detection and threat stuff, but for those advanced users to give them the ability to control or to add the other things that they do. So before I hand it over to Rishi here, I just wanted to quickly demonstrate some of the different types of detections that we have. And I think this will feed into some of the things that Rishi will demonstrate on his side. So we can do payload, and we do IP and URL and file and DNS and certificate analysis and heuristic type detections. And in all of these, you can drill down into the individual observation. So while we're correlating, we can drill down into the specific details and get different information that then demonstrates some of these other integrations that we can do. So we can extract the files from those flows, and Rishi's going to show you some of that here shortly. And we can also go to wildfire or virus total or other things. But a lot of these processes that we can do in our console can also be automated and orchestrated through Demisto and put into your common ticketing system. So there's really a big opportunity to be able to have us reduce that noise, have all this data at your fingertips, But if you are in Demisto or you want to start operationalizing a lot of these processes, we can take a lot of this stuff a step further. So Rishi?
Fantastic. Thank you, David. Let me share my screen, guys, and jump into where we start with Demisto. So in this case, I'm going to actually show pretty much the scenario that David mentioned, which is we're going to start by taking alerts and events. Actually, we are going to start by taking events from ProtectWise, being able to build a playbook for that event and responding in various different ways, whether it's blocking into an endpoint solution like Carbon Black, whether it's creating a ticket into Jira, whether it's deeper analysis. So let's quickly look at the playbook for ProtectWise. So the concept of playbook is a series of steps in Demisto which could be automated. Now, these steps could either be automations or these steps could also be manual steps which an IR analyst or a security operations analyst typically completes. So here in this case, we have the ProtectWise detections playbook. It's going to trigger on events that are created from ProtectWise. The playbook is actually pretty exhaustive in nature. The first thing we did was when a ProtectWise event comes in, we get the extended event information. We extract all the hashes and IPs, which ProtectWise already provides us as part of their algorithms. Then we take those hashes and automatically check with multiple different reputation sources. We integrate with 8 to 10 different reputation sources out of the box, which could be automated. You can check reputation, see if there is a malicious URL found, malicious hash found, and if it was found, then go ahead and block that hash in Bit9. On the other side, same with IPs. So if you find certain IPs, you can do two things. One, if it is an external IP, you can check the reputation of the IP. If it is an internal IP address of something within your environment, you can actually find if there is a Carbon Black sensor for that IP address. If yes, go ahead and quarantine that host as well. If it is an external and there was an IP address found to be malicious, an external CNC or some other IP address, then at that point of time, you might want to block it with choice of your firewall. And then you send an email to an analyst to review the details. The second side of the playbook here is creating a ticket. So if the threat level is low, maybe you do not want to create a ticket. If the threat level is high, you do want to create a Jira ticket. And if you get a PCAP, you can actually detect if there is a real PCAP associated with this particular event. You pull the PCAP, you attach the PCAP as an evidence to that particular incident, then you extract files from within that PCAP. So if PCAP has certain files, then they can be extracted, detonated in a sandbox, and reviewed. So if you think about it, this is most of the common workflows before even getting into ransomware specific playbook or certain other specific playbooks. But these playbooks are extremely, extremely easy to customize. The way the system works is all of the integrations we have in the system are configured right here, right? And these integrations, you can pick up tasks and attach them. So let us say after the review of the results by an analyst, what you want to do is maybe you want to add another block rule. So a step to Carbon Enterprise block rule you want to add. So you can actually pick up the task of choice here. So this is Carbon Black Protect, and the task that you want is ban hash. So you can take that and it says ban hash in Carbon Black Protect, which is also another name for the Bit9 solution. And it takes a hash. How do we provide it a hash? Because this playbook is going to run live, and every time the hash might be different. So the way you get hash is you can actually pick up parameters and outputs from other tasks. So here is the task extract hashes from observations. So if you want to take hash that came out of observation, you can just use that. But really what you want is you only want to pick up hashes that are malicious and that is what you're going to pick up. And that is available in what we have a cheat sheet section to even every time we detect reputation and other things, you want to pick it up. So you want to take the malicious MD5, make it as a parameter, and say there's a task to complete. Connect that task as simple as this. So extremely easy to create and edit these playbooks. I mean, another testament to the power of the open platform and API. What we are demonstrating here, we actually built this playbook in last day and a half, and we were able to complete the entire integration with the ProtectWise APIs and extend that within a week. So extremely rich API from ProtectWise, and ease of creation of these playbooks and integration within Demisto definitely makes the solution very extensible. So there is a playbook. I'm actually going to run this playbook live on one of the incidents. So let's close out of this playbook. I'm not going to save this. And let's go to incidents. A little bit more about Demisto, right? These incidents that we have are created from different sources. We can actually take incidents from other sources like a SIM or other tools. In our demo scenario today, we have picked up incidents from ProtectWise. And we already saw this incident trigger at 9:51 a.m. Right before the webinar started. And this incident is not right now being investigated. Typically, when an incident hits, the playbook that we saw will automatically run. But we have set it up to not run automatically. But these configurations are extremely easy. You choose your incident type. The incident type that we associate here is called network, and you have the playbook, and we could have set this to automatically run this playbook. But for our demo scenarios, to make it more real, we have not triggered it automatically. So here, what we're going to do is I'm going to hit investigate at this incident, and the incident starts to run that entire playbook that's associated. So what you will see here live, and at this point of time, typically I pray to demo God so that things go well. So you see the playbook running. I'm not moving this around. The playbook is running completely automatically and doing all of these things. And let's review this. It's beautiful that we went through all these tasks in a matter of seconds, right? So we went through the entire playbook. We got the extended event information, hashes, IPs, all of that looks green. And we kind of had a manual step here. It's very interesting. Anytime there is a manual step in the playbook, it's highlighted for an analyst to go complete. And also notice it has a dependency. Since this step comes before this particular step, till we complete that particular step, the next step doesn't move. So at this point of time, let's say an analyst comes in and they want to review the information. Very easy. He can go look at the event information that has come in here. He can say, let's see what hashes were extracted from ProtectWise. So these are the hashes that extracted from that particular observation. What IPs were extracted? These are the IPs that were extracted. Let's check the reputation of the hashes. So at this point of time, we go in and check the reputation of these hashes. We find actually these hashes to be perfectly fine. There was no bad hashes yet as an obvious bad sign there. Similar stuff for IP addresses. Let's look at the IP addresses that were extracted and looked at. Any bad sign on the IP addresses? Not really. So here, if I look at it, this is also good. So nothing bad so far. What's going on here though, right? There must be a reason why there was an observation here. So let's look at the PCAP information. So here, what we did was we extracted the PCAP. So this is the entire PCAP file being extracted. You see the PCAP was automatically downloaded right here. We calculated all the MD5, all the details for that PCAP. And then we went and extracted files from the PCAP. So here, when you look at the files which are within the PCAP, we found the problem. This is a malicious file which got downloaded, buried deep in the network, which one, is a testament that ProtectWise detected it. Two, without doing all of that drill down, we were able to extract that file in a jiffy and see all the details. And then what we did was we actually added that PCAP file as an evidence to the system, created a Jira ticket, and then we are waiting. We will send this back to Sandbox, and we'll see that how that is done in a little while. But when an analyst walks in, they will see all of this information right there. So they walk in, the work plan has run through that entire life cycle. Basic findings are here, right? We went through this entire thing. We found malicious files, malicious hashes. These were filed in other incidents. So there were some of these hashes and MD5s and other things which were extracted just now were found, and they were found in 4 other related incidents. We actually attached that evidence of the PCAP file. So we already extracted file from PCAP, and that's right here. And the entire timeline of that investigation is available. So the 2 views that we talked so far is a details summary view, a work plan view. But look at this point of time, typically what an analyst would do is he needs to solve this further. Says, okay, I reviewed all of that, so he should take a note. He can quickly mark the note here and says, notes from review, completed the PCAP analysis, will submit to Sandbox. And this is what we, how easy it is to take notes. You can mark this as a note so that it's highlighted to all the team members. You can actually collaborate with other team members. So here I can actually say, at Slavic, help me with this network issue, right? So Slavic will get a notification. He can chat back and forth. But most importantly, we can actually go deeper. We can actually trigger all of those 500 commands across 100+ integrated products from within here. So if I want to manually at that point of time, go get computers groups. So if you want to get details about that computer, the system name, I can say bang AD get computer. And I give it the system name, I get it from here. If I want to get IP reputation for a certain IP address, which I find in the incident, I run bang IP, and I get that detail right here from all the different sources, including a map of where that IP is located, right? So the point again is, this becomes the area where the further investigation can be done. In our case, what we wanted to do was maybe Sandbox detonate file. So we can say Sandbox detonate file, entry ID of the file that we had extracted. So let's see, this was the PCAP, and we had dropped in multiple files. So this was the file. This was a file that's deemed to be good by most of the other sources. Maybe when we actually extracted this file, we might want to detonate it to a Sandbox. So we can actually take this file, say entry ID this, and detonate the file to the Sandbox. And that's how easy it is to trigger all these actions while they are automatically documented, and you don't need to create this trail. Being able to collaborate easily, being able to issue commands easily, and being able to trigger automations, whether it's block or being able to detonate, in addition to the full automated playbook. And the last piece, again, all of this incident information that is coming in is being collected for different set of metrics, right? Whether these incidents are running on time, are the new incidents growing, are they running late, who are the most loaded analysts, there are some incidents which are unassigned to anybody, and all the other metrics you would want to run your security operations better. Again, a quick summary, I think the big piece here is with ProtectWise, you're able to detect better and faster across your network all these incidents. And with Demisto, you're able to take those incidents automatically, respond to them, whether it's responding is creating a block rule in an endpoint or a firewall, or whether responding means to create a Jira ticket, as we saw, and get out of the way, or whether it's a deeper analysis, interactive analysis, collaboration, as we talked across the entire life cycle of an incident. So I know it was a very, very quick overview, but that's what we wanted to cover, and open the floor for questions.